Hello and welcome to the Pixel Shared podcasts. We're back. We're doing things.
It's the first.
What's the first?
Even though we don't do dates anymore.
Oh, it is the 1st of February though.
Yeah.
It's a lovely little date
Yeah.
It's probably not the 1st of February.
when you're listening to this.
That's why I instantly regretted saying
It's
it.
almost certainly not the 1st of February.
That's the third week on the run
'Cause
where
we
we've
don't-
had this discussion.
We don't
Whoops.
edit that efficiently.
No, well we do, but like things
No,
get...
we don't.
No, we don't. But things we binge edit. Well, I binge
I was
edit.
gonna say Joel has like a grip over all of it.
I think I can let go of the grip.
I mean,
I can hand you guys the
I'm not
Pokemon
saying we've
Coliseum
not
thing.
offered.
I know you guys have offered.
I mean, you did give us a little lesson in green screen stuff.
Green
Oh
screen
yeah, we
stuff.
can do green screen stuff now.
I can hand you the Pokemon Coliseum stuff. Because that's the thing we've started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might talk about that.
We
on
might
the
talk about
podcast.
that a little bit.
Hmm.
Discussions about video games. Because that's what we do here. We talk about the video games
Occasionally.
occasionally.
Indeed.
What have we been playing? Jacob? What have you been playing?
I've been playing Final Fantasy 1 today.
That hot new title.
Yep. Straight out of the 1980s.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah.
I think it was 1980.
That's why I kept it vague. Because I have no idea of the actual date. But yeah, no, because there's an iPad port, so which I believe is a port of a different port,
I think it's
PSP or PS1. Or
the PSP one.
There's a GBA one as well.
Yeah, I think it might be the PSP one.
Yeah.
PSP one looked lovely on the PSP.
It looks pretty good on this actually. I don't know if you
Big giant.
caught
Yeah,
much.
it looks the same.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it looks even more lovelier on the iPad.
For the meager price of £6.
£6.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I bought it when we were streaming. I think.
Yes.
You saw how easy it is to buy stuff on the App Store. I was like, oh no, I'll just spend £6, and then that mounts up. But yeah, Final Fantasy is not something I wouldn't say I've properly explored it before.
No, it's
Because the only other one I've played is 13, and I don't think that's what
not a
people
good
would
point.
say is
No, that is
yeah.
to get the true Final Fantasy experience out of 13, you need to like get through halfway through disc 2.
I mean,
Yeah, I didn't do that.
I've also not played many Final Fantasy games, and I've also played 13, and I kind of enjoyed it.
It was fine.
It was fine. The combat system was bad.
I probably found it way less offensive than actual Final Fantasy fans
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, because you had no
Because it
point
was just
of
like,
reference.
it's a game.
Yeah,
It's.
13 is.
I knew that
a
by
blight.
like Final Fantasy standards it wasn't good, but because
No.
I hadn't really experienced those standards.
Like it
before.
was like impressive technically,
Oh, sure.
and
Really
it
nice
looked lovely.
Cutscenes and
Yeah, it looked lovely and stuff like that. But
didn't like the characters really.
there was maybe one character in that game that's any good, and that's Zaz.
I love that guy.
with
his
the
little
chocobo
in
And his hair.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the only good character in the entire game.
His... What was the kid called? Hope.
Hope
Hope.
was the worst.
Oh!
Oh my
Hope,
god.
Snow.
Snow, he wasn't
The
so
surfer
bad.
dude.
Snow was tolerable.
It was always
Yeah.
Hope and Lightning were the worst two.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
Lightning. I have a soft spot for Lightning
Hmm.
because
This is the guy that detested Lightning Returns.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I have a soft spot for Lightning because her character is that she is just a stone cold bitch at the end
Yeah.
of the day. She's, her sister's been murdered essentially.
Hmm.
She's gonna be a bit miserable.
Well,
But
sure.
then, like, you see the other two games, and like, 2 she becomes a god,
Sure.
a god of lightning.
god of everything,
Okay.
and then the third one she's like fixing everything
Third one, she
And dressing up.
returned.
and dressing up. She does return, and no one was excited for that because it was the third Final Fantasy game from 2009 to 2013.
Who was the like hippie girl?
Vanilla.
Oh, Vanille.
Yeah.
I liked
Vanille.
Vanille.
There was
She was
Vanille,
alright.
Yeah.
and then there was who was her like partner? The
Fang.
Fang. That's it.
Yeah.
Is she like
She
the
came
Australian
later.
one?
Yeah, she was Australian.
Yeah, she had like the cool dragon thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
probably.
don't know the names of the summon.
the
monsters.
dragon.
The
Oh
cool
no!
dragon
Yeah,
thing.
You've chosen a good. So we were discussing this before. You've chosen a good jumping off point to properly get into
I mean,
Final
you were
Fantasy.
kind of. I remember when I was buying it, you were kind of hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, maybe you want want to skip this one because it's a bit
It's too simple. Yeah.
But I actually kind of like that because I've not played a game like this in a really long time. So
No
it's
JRPGs.
nice for me just to kind of be able to go into it and not have to figure that much out. I mean, there's some. It doesn't have like a tutorial or anything. Obviously,
No, because it's an old ass game. It just
So
expects you to learn it.
There is some stuff that you've kind of got to figure out yourself, like how some shit works or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, where do I revive characters? Where do I get heals from or
Yeah.
whatever, and that sort of stuff. But it's nice in that there's no kind of jargon. Like, the lightning spell is the lightning spell.
Yeah.
It's just called lightning.
And then like
Yeah.
the next one up is like, so it's like thunder, and then it's like
It's all
thunderer,
pretty self-explanatory.
and then it's like thundara, and it's just like, all right, the more syllables at the end of
Yeah.
the word, the more powerful it is.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I only started playing it today. I played it for about an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah, you already got the ship.
Yeah, I got the ship just as before we started
Yeah.
recording, and that's opened up the map out quite a lot to the point where I'm not quite sure where to go next.
Yeah, this is the point where I started using a guide.
Right.
Not to like, how do I beat this thing? It's
No,
more
just
like
order should I
yeah, because it's an old ass game.
do
Like
things?
one character will tell you where to go, and you're like, well, I don't know where the fuck that is.
Yeah, it's like I would normally be fine with something like this, but with the amount of random encounters you have, like trying to explore takes a little bit too long. I mean, I guess it's good for like if you do need to grind at some point.
Yeah, it's some like
that you can find battles easy.
The way I always play Final Fantasy games and JRPGs in general is like I want to be 5 levels over the recommended level.
Yeah, so again, it's always been a series that I've kind of wanted to get into.
It's been a series that I've always been the most guilty for not
so
playing.
obviously you've got your iPad and you can play stuff through that. So if I wanted to go, say, through Steam,
Yes.
which ones are available?
All
to
of
me?
them are
I know there's
available.
like a
I
PC
don't
port
think.
of
I don't think.
quite a few of them.
There must be some kind of
I want to.
legacy collection or
I
something.
want to say.
Yeah,
I would
Well,
imagine.
you know what? We can actually check this. The only problem is with the Steam versions is that some of them are the nasty weird ports that they did.
Oh, okay.
Not that they don't work and stuff like that, but they look fucking horrendous.
Yeah. I can remember you like
They
complaining about these in the past.
yeah, they just look really bad, and it's like Final Fantasy VI had gorgeous,
Lovely SNES graphics.
yeah, like pixelated graphics and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And at this point, it's like, is it worth like shelling out the money when I can like easily track down like
Alternative means.
alternative means of doing this thing?
Yeah.
Just gonna look.
Because I've got 1 through 7 on the App Store right now, and I'm going to be selective about the ones I play. I'm not going to go.
Oh no,
because
don't play them all because
there's some that no one talk about, and I'm going to assume that that's for good reason.
2 is not a good one.
Yeah.
Is it 4 and 7 that everyone seems to?
4, 6, 7, 10,
Ish. Yeah.
and I'd say
8 I've heard about as well.
which one?
8.
8's a weird fucking game.
Is that the?
Some
or is
people
it-
swear by
is that the
8.
one with Squall.
Squall.
Yeah.
And like
That's one of
you've
them.
got to draw magic out and stuff
Yeah.
like, not like physically draw it out and stuff like that. Like you've got to like charge magic and stuff like that. And I never got it, and so it's just, to me, it just wasn't as good
Yeah.
as like
No, it's just one.
like
that
it wasn't as good as like the previous entries, because it's like, right, this is taking far too long to beat this thing.
Right.
And stuff like that. Oh, I've got to do it this way. Well, why the fuck do I have to do it this way? Why can't I just press a button and it goes? What happened to the mana meter and stuff like that?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so on Steam at the minute, there's like pretty much every single one except for I think 1 and 2.
Right.
Okay.
I want to say 1 and 2 is somewhere. But like then you've also got all the fucking weird ass like spin-offs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of them don't play. Some of them play.
It's just such a big thing to try and get into at this point because there are so many.
Also, another thing I've always wondered about Final Fantasy, that I guess I need to talk to like a buff about.
Are you a buff?
Consider myself
you
not
shit.
a buff. I know my stuff about
So
stuff.
You're a stuff buff.
Yeah.
Right.
So obviously they're not all in terms of storyline, they're not all direct sequels
Yeah.
to each other. They're all separate stories and everything. But are they all like? Do they
No,
all
they're
follow the same canon?
Universe, you
no,
mean?
they are.
So is it
so
totally?
they are entirely separate things until they need to do a fan service.
Like a crossover.
Okay.
So the
Dissidia sort of thing.
Dissidia fighting games
Yeah.
that they did.
Right.
What was the sequel called? The sequel had a stupid name. It was
Duodecim.
Duodecim 012,
Yeah.
something along those lines.
I only know that word because of Blaze Blue. As
Yeah,
well.
I think it was like because there was like 12 new characters or 12 new things in it
Yeah.
or something, or 12 event. I can't remember.
12.
There was a
Duodecim
storyline.
means
There was
12.
yeah, there was a storyline. There was a storyline within like Dissidia where it's like all the universes are collided together, and like the hero of light from Final Fantasy 1 is fighting lightning now. And what's the
Yeah.
villain from Final Fantasy 1 called that you beat at the start? Girahim?
Garland.
Garland, that's it. And he's a villain there.
Girahim's from Zelda.
That's Girahim from Zelda, isn't it?
So they literally have
No,
Other than that, nothing
unless
to do with
unless
each
they're
other.
like Final Fantasy 10-2
yeah,
or
obviously,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy 13-2.
I always knew that they didn't follow on from each
Mhm.
other and they didn't feature the same characters
They all
and stuff.
feature like themes and
Yeah.
like enemies. You know, there's always the after like Final Fantasy. I want to say like after like certain Final Fantasy games. I think it's like 6. Like a lot of the enemies start appearing. Like so like Final Fantasy 1. You'll see a lot if you play Final Fantasy 1 and then Final Fantasy 2. You'll see a lot of the same enemies.
Yeah.
All the moves are the same names and stuff
Mhm.
like that. The only thing that's different is like the worlds, the
Yeah.
things that happen within them, and
People.
Sid's a recurring, not a
There's
recurring
always
character.
a character called Sid, but they're
Yeah.
not necessarily always the same person.
There's always a ship. There's always a means of transport.
Recurring themes, yeah.
There's always Moogles after 6,
Yeah.
if you want to
There's
say.
always a man.
Or 5.
There's always a
Yeah.
lighthouse.
Chocobo.
Pretty much. Chocobos are a big thing after 5.
Summons.
Yeah, there's always
Right.
summons, and summons are usually like the same, like
Buzzwords
the same-
at this point.
yeah, like
Bahamut.
Monster.
Behemoth.
That's the big
Bahamut.
dragon thing, isn't it?
It's a big fuck off thing.
Shiva and all
Yeah.
that, yeah.
So, like,
Is
in
it
Final Fantasy-
Odin one as well?
Yeah, so like in Final Fantasy 15, they showed off one of the summons, which is like carried over from like previous entries and stuff like that, and it is like, yeah, no, we can make him like literal god size now. So it's like,
So it's proper like spectacle sort of
yeah,
thing,
the thing with Final Fantasy is like people, they love 7.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
7.
want to play that eventually.
7 is the point where Final Fantasy takes a turn for anime.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Cloud and
Like belts and like there's lots of belts and buckles
belts,
and
big,
zippers,
big swords.
big swords and stuff like that. If you want more, I don't want to say grounded.
I get what you mean when you
But
say
more-
that.
More of
like-
your kind of standard fantasy.
Yeah, so it's, like 6 introduced like mechas and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Mm.
and like robots and stuff. But that was just like this world's a bit more advanced now because we're on the Super Nintendo. Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like also Final Fantasy 4 is so like my personal like rating for like Final Fantasy games is like 12. 14, 12, like 4, 6, 7. Because I've not played all of them. Like
Yeah.
Just
The-
number sequences
yeah.
to me.
14, 12.
like 14 is one of the best MMOs on the market. 11 is one of the old is one of those old MMOs that no one can get into anymore because it's like everyone's either ditched it for 14 or have got so far into it that there's no chance of coming back. There's all the spin-offs and stuff like that. Like if you want to play a good Final Fantasy game that without like the baggage of Final Fantasy,
Play Chocobo Racing.
that or just play Bravely Default on the 3DS
There you go.
because that eliminates like you can turn off random encounters. You can bump up experience gain by about 2 times, or bump up experience. So it's basically it just like brings all the Final Fantasy stuff.
That is actually something that
Fast forward battles.
Bravely Default is something I consider checking out.
Mhm.
So I saw it fairly recently.
The
I
second
think.
one's coming out this month.
I think I saw
Oh,
it down
yeah,
to
yeah.
like 15 quid in game or something.
Yeah,
I
it's
almost bought it.
It's really fucking good. I bought it day one. I never finished it
Yeah, 'cause
because the end of the
Mm.
game is like super brutally difficult.
Yeah, see, I didn't really know much about the game. I just remembered you talking about
Yeah,
it. And
it's maybe one of my most favorite 3DS experiences that I've had, and I'm not gonna like. I realized today, like I've not had that many 3DS. Like, not never. It's been a while since I've sat down with my 3DS and played.
I was about to jump into this Bravely Default question because conversation saying that I'd considered it multiple times, but I was just like, oh, it was down to 15 quid. Oh, I might consider it then. And then I tried to remember where my 3DS actually is. I couldn't tell you where it is.
Exactly.
Like-
I know where mine is. It's under my Vita, gathering dust. But
The
like
sad
that's
corner
like
of the room with
I
ditched
constantly
handheld
I
consoles.
constantly dust them, and they just like I just don't use them. And
Yeah.
it's just slightly frustrating, but
Hmm.
no, like yeah, if you want a Final Fantasy game without the baggage of Final Fantasy, Bravely Default.
Hmm.
If you want to I would say like maybe different ends of the spectrum for like both of you, because you prefer story stuff. No, and you seem to be enjoying like the gameplay.
I do.
side
Yeah. I mean,
of-
I'm not. I went into like Final Fantasy 1 not expecting to be like
Yeah.
the story, because it's not like.
No, but like
no, you're right.
if you want more story, 4 is where you go, because
Yeah.
it's like
I
a more
enjoy a good
linear game.
story.
Yeah, 4
Do you like-
like if
If you
you
like my story-driven games,
yeah 4 is the one that
Hmm.
it's a lot of story.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's one of the first games that is like driven by events rather than like driven by the player.
Okay.
Hmm.
If you know what I mean. So like, oh, this thing happened, so now this battle's gonna go this particular way, and there's nothing you can do about it. Stuff like that.
Right.
But it's still like a proper Final Fantasy game at the end of the day.
Hmm.
So like, if you don't save like I did, and you have to go back about 3 hours.
Yeah. I just remembered a point that I've forgotten when we were going back and talking about Final Fantasy VII. I've obviously seen a lot of clips of Final Fantasy VII. I've got an idea of how it plays, and looking at the remake stuff, I feel kind of turned off to it.
What, the
With how
old
they're
one
changing it? No,
or the new one?
I'd like that. I thought they were just redoing the old one.
No.
But I don't know if I like the new stuff that they're doing.
Well, the thing is, they are shifting Final Fantasy away from
Turn-based.
turn-based stuff.
So,
Like,
yeah.
no one wants to play a turn-based game anymore.
I
No,
mean, I'm kind of new to it, so I guess I do.
We do.
Yeah.
We do, because we
But not
did
the-
video games.
The consumer.
But if they want to fucking sell Final Fantasy VII Remake in modern day
I think
to
enough
people that
people
have never played Final Fantasy VII before, because at the end of the day, you've got to remember this is the first time some people are going to play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And if you're really, really fucking interested in playing Final Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
The-
You probably would have played the original. already.
the originals are on that many platforms now.
Yeah.
Like you said, like this month, you're probably going to get PS4.
Yep.
It's literally on the front page of the PS4 constantly,
Mm.
like the PSN store.
Yeah.
No, like Final Fantasy VII, like doesn't hold up as well as people.
I'll be very interested to play it because I will play the original.
There
and I'll probably-
are points of that game where it's very much a Japanese turn-based role-playing game. Like it is a JRPG through and through.
Indeed.
You are gonna
That
get
is what it is.
you are gonna get stuck with enemies buffing and debuffing and turning you into frogs so you can't attack,
I mean, that's what I expect.
and
from
then
every
putting you to sleep,
JRPG.
and then game over, and then you have to go do it all over again,
Yeah.
and you have to hope to God that there's no
You saved.
that you save, that you don't get the random encounters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII doesn't hold up as well
Hmm.
as the other. Then again, Final Fantasy VIII doesn't really hold up in my mind just because of how that plays.
Like I would suggest that that's something we do a video with, but it'd take too long to do a Final Fantasy VII.
We could do Final Fantasy VII thing,
Oof.
sort of.
I don't know. It seems like a big game.
We're planning
And we've got
big
quite a
live
few
stream at
video
some point.
series
Yeah,
going.
we're planning a big live stream at some point,
So-
so we can work it in.
We'll have a look.
We'll have a look.
Uh,
But yeah, no, Final Fantasy, one of my favourite things.
Something that I also came across with this number one, I briefly looked up like what team comp I should go with
Mhm.
in terms of classes, and what seems actually quite nice is it's fairly open ended. There's not like a
Yeah,
one
there's-
set of people that are the best team to have.
yeah. Some people swear by one team, like I swear by like warrior, fighter, white mage, black mage. Some people swear by red mage, red mage, red mage, red mage. Some people swear by entirely white. Like I've seen people do like white mage runs where they just have white mages, so they've got no real means of attack.
Yeah.
They just have to like rely on like
very slowly killing
Yeah.
things and staying alive a really long time. No, I've gone for a warrior, a monk, a red mage, and a black one.
Yeah.
Which seems to be nice and balanced.
Yeah, like a lot of people usually take two mages to.
Yeah, it's fairly strong, like
Yeah.
offensively, but it's got heals as well with the red mage, so it's all good. But no, I'm
Also, just one more question about it. You're playing it on the iPad.
Yeah.
How does it control? Is it the?
that's probably the worst thing about the iPad port is walking around the map. It can be a bit jank at first. You end up adjusting to it after about an hour or so.
It's a big old virtual D-pad.
Yeah,
and it's it's not even like it's permanently there on the screen. Like it's whenever you tap down, the D-pad comes up, and then you push like the direction you want to go.
Okay.
And it's just kind of a bit. I've never played anything like that before, so I was just kind of a bit.
Yeah.
And you have to do it on the left side of the screen as well, because anywhere you tap on the right side of the screen, it's going to be like select stuff instead, like A button.
That's something that always put me off,
It's a bit weird, yeah.
touchscreen games.
Yeah. It's
like when I tried to play games on my phone. If there was anything like that, I couldn't.
It looks like it's serviceable.
I could get a controller that would work with this.
Yeah, it looks like
wonderful.
It looks like it's serviceable for that game because
it works fine,
because you are literally going through menus and going through a gridded town. Like it is built on squares.
And in battles, it's literally just tapping the enemies that you want to hit and stuff. It's I think it might be a bit more intuitive in that way, but
it would be maybe nice if like
something that could use refining. Yeah. But otherwise, no, I've actually had a surprisingly good time with it. I kind of expected to be like, I was a bit scared of being like, I mean, it's only £6, but still being like, okay, I paid for it, and I'm not really getting into it, so I don't really want to play it. But actually, I'm excited to continue going.
It hooks you.
Yeah.
There'll be that point with every JRPG where there'll be that point with every JRPG where you put it down, you come back to it about 3 months later and you go, I have no fucking idea.
Well, I mean, we have that experience with other games, don't we, Ollie? The Witcher, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
RPGs in general. You just come back to them and you're like, what is going on? I have to start again.
But speaking of future RPGs, like they had the active time battle report.
Excuse me.
So
come again.
Square Enix have their Final Fantasy events are called the active time battle reports or whatever.
Sounds super anime.
Yep. So like this is how they've been like announcing things to do with Final Fantasy 15.
Is it like their version of a Nintendo Direct?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And so they were showing off like Final Fantasy 15 is the new things we've put in the game. It's like 60-70% complete now. It's still coming out in 2016. We do not have a date for 2016, but it's 2016. It's coming.
Trust us.
Trust us, guys. So they showed stuff off like stealth sections, and I was like, oh god.
Right.
But then they like obviously showed the point where it's like, oh yeah, it's not full stealth. You're gonna get spotted probably, and then you just start a proper like Final Fantasy 15
really
battle.
Try if you want.
Really try if you want, and then you can like then you can go straight into battles and stuff like that. And Noctis in the game has a warp ability, so you can just go from one end of the map to the other and stuff like that.
So you've got to drive everywhere? Is that what you mean?
What's that?
Isn't there like a car?
Yes, so like...
So you don't have to actually manually...
Oh no, the car like you can manually drive the car, but then also you can also set the car to automatic and it will just take you to the next destination you need to go to. Because it's like the world they're building from like, it's still like clinging on to their original ideas, which was like, we want Final Fantasy but in a realistic world, but with all the magic and shit.
A road trip.
Yeah. So like...
With all these big ass monster things.
Yeah, so like it's basically like going through the countryside, but then seeing like giant fucking dinosaurs and shit like lurking around.
I don't know if you've ever been through Yorkshire, Joel.
Oh.
There's some dinos in there.
But they were showing stuff off, so there's like a mecha facility. They showed off The combat's been improved, so it looks like it's more action orientated now instead of like being. Last in the demo, apparently I never played the demo, but apparently it was like a bit weird to get into. It was a bit sluggish. The dodging didn't really work. It's very all.
That's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've added dodge rolls in. They've added more of the team like combo stuff. So you got like a team of 4. Like there's 4 characters in the game. Yeah, party of 4 that you follow throughout the game, and they're all like best buds and stuff like that. So like one of them will shout like, "Hey, come up here," and then you'll warp up there, and then and then you'll stun him, and then he'll like fucking fire in the face with his gun and stuff like that. It's like the butler. It's basically like edgy teen Alfred Pennyworth, surfer dude, and big guy.
And anime hair.
The muscle.
And the muscle and anime hair. But then the best bit of the entire report, the whole thing, Frog Locomotive is done.
Yeah.
They showed
Thank God.
They showed we have finished animating the frogs. And they showed this animation of a frog going across, and that was like, someone's worked on this for 3 months.
Someone get the confetti.
And it's like, what are you fucking guys doing? And it's like, a lot of it was just like, yeah, we're working on water physics.
I can just imagine that in the offices, or just the guy bursts in guys, the frogs are done, and then just balloons falling from the ceiling, and
but it's like
music comes on, everyone's dancing.
It's like in the Final Fantasy 15 font, the big fancy font they've got now for branding and stuff like that. Frog Locomotive, and it's like what's going on in Japan?
It's nice to see they got their priorities straight.
Just release the fucking game. You announced it.
The frogs are perfect. It's gone gold already.
You announced this in 2006.
Shit, it was a different game though, wasn't it?
It was more driven by Kingdom Hearts.
I can't remember what its name was though.
Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Versus 13, that was it, yeah.
Because it was part of the Crystallis Novacum. Oh god, I'm gonna have to Google the full name because it's it was part. So it's basically it was part of the
13 universe.
13 universe.
Yeah.
It wasn't set within 13's universe, but it was the same concepts all apply.
Yeah.
There's Lassie and
Fallacy
and fallacy.
cocoons and
Oh yeah.
and yeah.
And lightning and not lightning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah.
Fabula Nova Crystallis. Fabula Nova
Sounds
Crystallis.
amazing.
So that it basically encapsulated Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy now 15, and Final Fantasy Type 0. Which I have and not played more than 3 hours of.
We
Even though
spoke
it's
about this before Christmas. I was like, I saw it cheap. I didn't know whether to buy it or not.
I was like, I bought it over summer, and I was like, it's okay, but this is more suited to a PS Vita.
Wasn't it initially?
It was a PSP game.
Ah, okay.
But they the fans translated the PSP game, and then they translated it for HD and stuff. And it's this doesn't convert very well.
Well, I mean, it's reduced price, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of. I think it's still £60 on PSN because it still comes with the Final Fantasy 15 beta or demo. Is there anything else, Jacob? We spoke about a lot of Final Fantasy.
I mean, I dare say Ollie will go into it in greater detail, but we did play Elder Scrolls Online for the first time.
Yeah, should we
You can talk a lot more about that than I can because I've not touched it since we did it for the video.
Okay.
Where are you at? Because last time you were level 6 or whatever.
I was getting chased from the bread. That's all.
So I played a little
Fuck
bit more
that game.
than we did on the video.
Yeah.
Did some of the solo missions. I have joined the Queen's Guard or whatever it's called, which is some kind of faction, but it didn't seem to be optional of whether I joined it or not. I foiled an assassination attempt on the Queen's life, and then she just said oh, you're part of my personal guard now.
Nicely done.
Oh, thanks, guy.
You don't have any choice because I'm the queen.
Yeah, so some parts of it seemed a little odd. Like, it didn't feel right in an MMO setting. Like,
Yeah.
so you get put in prison by these. So, like, the queen's original bodyguards are the ones that are actually trying to assassinate her.
Oh.
They're like posing as her guard, so they put you in prison to stop you preventing them from doing it, and you have to like stealthily break out of prison.
In an MMO.
But there's like 10 of you in there, all sneaking around,
All crouched down.
and there'll be like this one guard just stood at a table or something, and there'll just be a group of people all just crouching and sneaking past him.
It's something that maybe should be like instanced off.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not done like the Guild Wars thing, which is like towns and certain areas of the map are open to all players, but dungeons and specific story quests are closed off.
Yeah, that's
I mean, there are some quests that are specifically marked solo,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking maybe if I do one of them, I might not be able to see
close you off.
everyone else, but this wasn't one of them. Like, when I was in my cell talking to the guard through the bars, there was like 5 of us at the door, all crowding around in one cell and talking to him, and it just
Yeah.
kind of
MMO.
it takes you out of it a bit.
Everyone is the chosen one in an MMO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, I'm enjoying it. It still plays like an Elder Scrolls game. Got some better gear now.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't play as well as,
No,
Well,
because
first
it's
game,
not
but-
like.
but the
Be
basics
adapted.
are still there.
Yeah.
It just seems like a very, very, very weird game. Like
Yeah.
the concept, like, oh, Elder Scrolls in an MMO setting makes complete perfect fucking
You
sense.
can go to all the places.
All the
and-
places, like, it makes complete perfect sense. But then in execution, you watch it and you're like, I was watching you guys and it's just like, this looks like an old ass like Asheron's Call style MMO, like EverQuest style, where it's like it's slightly janky, it's still finding its footing.
Yeah, I think if I actually got into like made my own guild or whatever, and
Yeah.
had like a group of 4 or however many you can have,
Yeah.
and started tackling quests as a group, it would probably feel a bit more like natural. But at the moment, I'm doing a lot of stuff on my own, and it just feels like I'm trying to play a solo Elder Scrolls game, and there's all these other people in the way.
Yeah. Have you run into like any issues with like what was it? It was Terra Online, the MMO you briefly
Briefly
played.
tried, yeah.
Yeah. Have you run into any issues like that game where it's like there's one specific monster you have to kill for this quest, and it's not
Everyone's killing
respawned
it.
yet,
Yeah.
and everyone's just waiting for it, and it's whoever gets the last fucking hit.
I don't think so, because I think certain monsters and stuff will be different to different people.
Yeah.
It's like, so we went over to that place on the beach when there was all those like bandits there,
Yeah.
and we fought them. I kind of noticed, I went back over there, and I kind of, so they started attacking me, I ran back a bit because I was using archery. They came towards me, but as soon as they came towards me and left their area, another one spawned in their area, and like other people went straight back to fighting them there.
Oh,
So it seems to be like there will always be something there for you to be able to
Right, yeah.
fight. I mean, there is the kind of random encounter type thing that we've had in Elder Scrolls in the past, like the Oblivion Gates and the dragons, and it's now like the chains of Molag Bal, which you see in the cinematic. They just kind of descend from the sky, and then loads of Daedra will spawn around. I randomly wandered into one of them,
yeah, like
and then
a
there must have been about 20 people around, all fighting it off. 'Cause
Yeah,
I was
Final
really low level, so
Final Fantasy 14 has that sort of stuff where it's like events happen throughout the map,
yeah.
and on the mini map there's like a big purple circle, and if you enter the big purple circle, you're within that event, and
Yeah.
like your contributions like to that stuff. But sometimes it's like, oh, you're not high enough level for this, so we're gonna level you. Your contributions won't matter,
Yeah.
so you might as well just leave.
But yeah, so I've not encountered.
I'm curious as it like Elder Scrolls aside, because obviously like I've seen it now.
Yeah.
It plays like a janky Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
because it's got to obviously be adapted for MMO world. Like, there's no fucking chance of it being the Elder Scrolls Online game that people want.
No, it's
Bethesda will probably do that themselves at some point, with hopefully like a 4-player cooperative
thing.
Elder Scrolls game. But then again, Bethesda's like prerogative at the minute is a lot of just like, no, single player games work.
Yeah, I mean, it would maybe be nice if in their next main series installment you could maybe like, kind of like a Dark Souls type thing, if you could bring your character into someone else's world.
Yeah, it'd also just be nice, like, maybe take some lessons from Elder Scrolls Online, because a lot of it seems to, I don't know, it's weird, it's almost like a callback while being like kind of a modern MMO, like, because there's not a lot of cooldown stuff, and there's not a lot of like dice rolls and like standing still and casting spells and stuff.
Pretty much no standing still.
Combat
wise, you'll
there's
play
no
like
it's not like WoW or Final Fantasy 15 where Final Fantasy 14 where you just stood pressing one over and over again.
You do get some cooldown stuff.
It seems
you have like your class ability, so I've got like the Assassin's Blade thing.
Obviously they don't want you spamming shit out constantly. But it's like the combat and like when you were doing archery and stuff like that, it actually mattered where you aimed. Yeah. And stuff like that, and that's interesting to me.
Okay, with the archery, the kind of hitbox does seem to be very generous.
Yes, because
it is possible to miss.
Because the thing with MMOs is like what people forget with MMOs is like you have a lot of hardcore people who play them. People who play them a lot, but they're not particularly. The reason they flock to those games is because they're not particularly invested in like action orientated stuff. So like a lot of people play WoW because it's easy to play. Like it's mind numbing almost at times. Like the end stuff becomes a bit harder. You need to be more on point. But the general questing to level 100 is you can sit back and just hammer one over and over again, and you'll most likely succeed. And if you want to learn it deeper, you can. So like, but Elder Scrolls Online seems to be like going like, actually no, here's how we can do combat. Because it's like a lot of games now, MMO style games, MMOs aren't as big as they once were, but the thing with like Elder Scrolls is what it's doing is what a lot of other MMOs have tried to do recently, which is proper combat within.
Yeah, I mean the thing with it is, it's obviously got all the cooldown based things and your specific powers and stuff, but you could get by purely using your weapon, like your standard attack. You could just go in with your sword and just fucking swing it.
It's just eating Jaffa cake. No, you made me curious to play it, but I will probably never buy it. Yeah, I am waiting for the moment that they go, it's free to play. Like they've kind of done that now. Yeah, they did away with the subscription. Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for the moment that it's.
I mean, there is some stuff that's been tempting me to spend like real money. Largely because I kind of want to play like Imperial City.
Yeah, you seem way more invested in this than I would have expected.
Yeah, but I mean,
but then again, this is your next Elder Scrolls game for probably until about 2018 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm quite a big Elder Scrolls fan. I've played them since Morrowind. I even tried to play Daggerfall. That's
a hard thing to do.
Get into. Yeah. No, I've not touched Arena. That's going.
No, Arena does not hold up in the slightest. No. Daggerfall, people who played it back in the day, still holds up to them because they remember it.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like I like the world. I like the lore. Yeah. And everything. I like making some weird ass characters. So yeah, that's kind of what. If this was just any old MMO, and even if it played the same, I probably wouldn't be playing it. It's kind of the fact that it's the name that's stuck on it that's kind of hooked me into it.
It's scratching the itch.
Yeah, it's giving me these places where when I've been playing Skyrim, I'm thinking, I wonder which region they're going to set the next game in. And then I'm getting to actually see them, maybe not in as much detail as I would in a main series game, but
Yeah,
you
no, it's
can check them out.
like I enjoyed it when I did play it with you, but I don't have much drive to really come
Go
back
back.
to it. I mean, I dare say I'll play it more, but I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
You are in that beginning
like with
bit
like with
of
Final
an
Fantasy,
MMO.
for instance.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go back to
Yeah.
it, whereas something like
But,
Elder
like,
Scrolls
you-
Online, I'm just kind of like, it's alright.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll play it if there's nothing
I
else.
haven't. It hasn't hooked me yet, but I do.
No,
think I'm
but
gonna play
you're
it more.
all in that bit of an MMO where it's like
It hasn't.
it's either this is the moment you either drop out forever
Yeah.
or persevere and find the hook.
It hasn't kept me coming back and playing more
Hmm.
as much as the other game that I've been playing this week.
Boom!
Oh shit!
Oh,
I can talk about this game too.
Two
well,
games.
Not, no, I'm not gonna play it.
which is XCom,
Yay!
which I've owned for a very long time.
Since probably the same amount of time
for
I have.
about 2 years.
Yeah.
That's a
probably
game
longer.
I've purchased about 3 times. on
And
different platforms and such.
never really touched it for more than like an hour or so.
Hmm.
So I thought. So we talked about it a few weeks ago.
I
Yeah.
guess kind of off the back of XCOM 2.
Yeah, and I've looked at XCOM 2. It looks interesting,
Hmm.
so I thought
We-
I'll give this a proper go.
We had a look at the review roundup for XCOM 2.
Oh yeah.
Not
just before
one,
this,
not
yeah.
one score lower than a 9.
Mm.
Essential, someone said.
So there you go.
Pretty positive.
So you've got something to look forward to
Yeah.
once you've massacred your way through all these aliens.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying XCOM. Like I said, I only kind of touched on it for an hour or so before, and I never really got into any of like the customization and stuff. And I know it's not deep, but
No, but it's enough so that
it's
you.
nice to be able to name your
Yeah.
characters and stuff. And I say that I started off naming all my characters. I was getting some nice wrestling based puns.
Funny names.
I had Mandy Orson and Kerry Owens and
Yeah.
some people like that.
Shelton.
I did have a Shelton. And then they started dying.
Oh. Yeah, you got to the real part of XCOM.
And then
Death.
yeah, well, I started on the second highest difficulty
Yeah.
because I kind of I looked at it before and
All the pros were like,
well,
you
no,
want to play it on
the developers were saying like this is the way it's supposed to be
Okay.
played. It's more enjoyable like this because like your choices matter.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, okay, I'll play it like that, and yeah, I started losing a lot of soldiers, and then by that point I realised as I'm losing a lot of soldiers, obviously I'm recruiting more, and I've been naming all my soldiers.
You running
Then
out
I
of
started
names.
realising that I was spending more time on like the naming screen, sitting there for like
Thinking.
almost hours thinking of names
Yeah.
than I was actually playing the game.
Oh dear.
So I'm kind of going with default names
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
moment.
Not getting attached.
I mean, like I had Owen Terry, my English soldier, which was one of the default names.
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. Was he
Like-
Scotsman?
Graham McAllister or
Graham
whatever it
McAllister.
was.
Yeah.
He died on his first mission.
Oh, Graham.
But no, I'm
Fuck's
really
up.
enjoying XCOM.
Should have called him like Groundskeeper Willie or something.
GK Willington.
No, you. It's probably one of those games I will eventually get round to.
Yeah.
I will
as it was for me.
It's a game that I always find myself playing in like spurts. Like
Yeah.
I play it quite a lot during like a week, and then don't play it for months and months on end, and then I'll come back to it again and be like, oh no, this is really fun.
Yeah,
and play it for a little bit again.
it seems
then
a
go
bit-
away.
Weird that, as we said earlier, are like really story-driven games, and this isn't
Oh no.
No,
much
not
of a
at all.
story-driven game at all. But it is.
This
It
is very much.
sounds like
this is very
sounds like a
much
cliche, but it's like the stories you make.
Yes.
It's like you get attached to these characters.
It's like a
and-
D&D sort of situation.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, this guy's been on a lot of missions with it. This guy's a veteran,
Yeah.
and he's
you can then you can come
Yeah,
on this
and then he's
podcast and
dead.
go like, hey, this guy.
He was the last man standing, and he took out all these aliens with this one rocket shot.
Oh
and it
yeah,
was
I mean,
amazing.
I was saying to you earlier,
Yeah.
like I had Shelton,
Hmm.
my sniper, and he was
His
my
highest
longest
rank,
serving
Yeah.
Marine,
Mm.
and I think he was up to like Colonel or something, and he was with me
All
most
the
of
way
my
through it,
missions, and they died
Perished.
at the hands of one of those floating fucks.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't know what they're called, but it might just be floaters.
Like one of the reasons
They're
I
the ones that are just like torsos flying
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
like one of the reasons I quit quit playing XCOM the first time around. I put it down, but it's a slight quit. Was just the stress level of like, oh god,
I think that's why
I've had all my funding gone already, and I've only played 5 hours. I must have fucked up somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's why I don't play it for a very long time. It's just because I'm like, it's too much to think about.
And then you've got people making like the Long War mod and stuff like that, and that just adds even more stuff to the game.
So you're an enemy unknown?
Yeah, I don't have enemy within.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, enemy
within. Enjoy within as well because you get a bunch of extra shit to play around with.
Enemy within is one of those things that I've been told, like, yeah, you need to start a new game to benefit from any of it, because it's not a separate thing. It works its way. You won't see any of it unless you actually play, like, because it just works its way into like the main game.
Okay.
Like sort of like how, I hate to use this like as a comparison, but sort of how like Bloodborne does with the old Hunters.
DLC. Right. At this point in the story, it's going to start interweaving it.
Well, it's like if you don't go this, like XCOM, it's a Western game. It's not made by From Software, so it's not as obtuse. You know when you're getting the enemy within stuff, because it's like, oh, this enemy's been introduced now.
Suddenly
this weapon's here.
Missions
Suddenly, whereas like like in a few minutes we'll probably talk about Bloodborne. But like Bloodborne is like, hey, this is hidden. You have to go find this deliberately.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about XCOM 2. Don't know that much other than like trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing I was saying to you is I kind of want a bit more customization because it is very basic, and I
think it's meant to be very basic.
Yeah,
because
on one hand I get that, but on the other I would like to actually be putting some time into developing these characters, because then you know what, I'm going to be doing every single thing I can to keep them alive. Because sometimes I'll just be like,
creation.
Yeah. So a few times I've been like, I brought a new guy in, and it's like, okay, all I've done is change his hair colour or whatever, and I'll be like, okay, I could take a big risk in order to save him and make this really difficult for myself, but like otherwise he's gonna die. Or I'll be like, okay, I can just make this easier on myself and I'm gonna lose him, but fuck it. I kind of want to feel like, if I made these characters of like, I put time into that, I will leave no man behind. I want to feel like that. I want to get properly attached to these characters, and I think a bit more customization would do that, even if it is just more like
more hair.
Yeah, more hairstyles, a few more facial
structures,
face
altering.
Yeah.
Like that.
Maybe change their height or something.
I would like to see, considering like XCOM 2's big thing is like, we're only releasing it on PC because we want to do a lot of mods.
Yeah.
And like the Long War mod people have been hired on by like the team, like for Axis, to release mods alongside XCOM 2.
Yeah.
It's like the Long War mod is available from launch and stuff like that. I think the Long War mod's available from launch. But XCOM. It's one of those games you eventually get around to, and you've been sucked in massively.
I just want to say, when I first played it as well, the whole like ant farm view thing, it seemed a bit intimidating at first because there's so much going on with it, and it seemed a bit overcomplicated, and I think that kind of put me off. At first, I didn't really explore it and go through everything. I was just like, I just want to get my team and go on missions and stuff. I don't want to be managing my finances and all that. But now I've actually given it a chance. It's not as kind of threatening as it seems. You get the hang of it quite quickly. It's just
but it is a threatening game.
But I like
it does not like you one bit.
Oh no,
it wants you to play with it, but it doesn't like you.
Also, I like
all the touching, but no kissing.
I like kind of tactical and turn-based games anyway, because as I found from playing things like Star Wars Battlefront online and stuff, when it comes to like fast reactions and stuff, I'm not that good at these games. I like something where I can sit back and take my time and just plan out my approach, because then I get it right and I feel good about myself. It's the same when I'm playing something like Pokemon. It's just like, if I'm going online and playing, like, I'll have like proper strategy, and it's like, I'll switch into this attack, and I'm like, fuck you, I predicted your attack. It doesn't matter that I'm slow on my trigger finger and you've shot me before I've even seen you.
It's brains.
I can do this.
Brains, not reflexes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think
Brain's
about my
not
games.
born.
Yeah. XCom.
It's a good game.
It's good.
It's a very good
I've
game.
almost used this whole pack of Jaffa
Yeah.
cakes.
Yeah. Do you know where there's not Jaffa cakes? In Bloodborne.
So,
You drinking pee?
Warm and juicy.
so Bloodborne, I think you guys might have noticed, but I've had like a flip in attitude towards Bloodborne.
Because you can do it now.
So we have our
Games Link versus Bloodborne.
thing,
Part
yes.
1 has
It's gone out and part 2 is done, it just needs uploading.
2 is on the way.
And then 3 is broken, like irreparably broken.
Oh really?
Yeah, like there's only 17 minutes of footage out of it, and it's mostly corrupted.
Oh no.
It's a fun time because that's the bit where Jacob succeeded.
Oh.
That's the bit where Jacob just took the controller off me when I was having a little
That
tantrum.
was the first time
I
I played
fucking knew it.
Bloodborne and I
And
did
he,
it.
and he did it. He did the thing that we're gonna do.
And that's why it's not just Joel's playthrough anymore.
Yeah, like the
Basically.
audio's all out of sync.
Oh, really?
It's fixable, but there's only 17 minutes of it. But then we've got up to episode 5.
So we've got a fair amount of stuff. Yeah.
So we finally spoilers for our series. Who cares? You'll see our reactions and stuff like that. That's on games-link.com.
Yo-huh.
That's where you can watch both videos in their entirety.
Yeah.
You can watch the best of bits on
Mhm.
facebook.com/pixelshed.
All these places.
All these places, or
You can
bit.do/pixelshed. You can just watch the best ofs.
Yeah.
But then if you want the uncut, full conversations,
All the goodness.
you can just go to
We
games-link.com.
talk about good things on
Yeah.
those things.
Um,
I'm trying to remember something that we spoke about.
Arthur.
Pringles.
Pringles, Arthur.
How Pringles
just
are
edited-
scamming you.
Yeah,
Find out.
I just edited that episode.
Yeah, see, there you go.
A majority of the Arthur stuff got in.
Yeah. Anyway,
No,
yeah.
so I've had like this massive twist like of attitude towards Bloodborne since like April of last year. I have detested that game because it was too hard and not Dark Souls, and it's not doing the thing that I want it to do.
Gosh.
Yeah, I mean, we
Why
just kept
don't
telling
you-
you that
Blood
you just need to get good.
Yeah, you need to get good, and it's like, why is it not just Dark Souls? There's no shields. I can't take my time with things. And it's not that game at all. It is a game that wants you to be careful. You know,
There's a lid on it.
It's alright.
As soon as you say be careful, I drop something.
It's a game that wants you to be careful. Take your time, stuff like that. Plan out your routes.
Yeah.
But it is not like Dark Souls, where like Dark Souls is like, I can hide behind this shield for maybe like a majority of my stamina bar, and then during its attack,
You
I poke it, and then I'll kill it, and it'll be all right, and then I'll roll away and come back in for another hit. This is, you need to dodge every single attack, manage the stamina bar so that it recharges enough for you to deal out the standard 3 combo hit, or smack down on. So you need to like the big Frankenstein dudes
get
with
your
the
timings
bricks.
down with the blunderbuss.
Yeah, or like what we've realised is like just charge up the strong attack and then all the way. So when they're coming towards you, then let go and it just smashes them down into the ground.
Yeah.
It's still the same tactics as Dark Souls, just without the shield.
Yeah.
So instead of like, you need to learn the animations of each enemy. It's almost like the wrestling games where you need to learn the animations of each.
so you can reverse it. Yeah.
You need to learn all the animations for everything. So like, alright, if I hit the dog when it's in midair, I'm still going to get hit because it's as if it's a bite, but it will also die in one hit.
And you'll probably make your health back actually.
Yeah,
if
you also
get hit first.
yeah. So you make your health back. And I'm appreciating that feature more and more. But fuck me. We beat Father Gascon
And the cleric beast.
and the Cleric Beast by accident.
Yep.
Completely by accident, we beat the Cleric
We
Beast.
didn't mean to come across it, but we did. And
That-
I'm not quite sure what it is about Bloodborne that makes it so that I get along with it so much better than I do with Dark Souls. But
I think it's because, like, obviously, like, me and you prefer more action
yeah,
heavy
I
games.
suppose so.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've found myself wanting to play it more than Dark Souls, but I think that might just be the fact that
it's the world.
no, I was going to say the fact that I don't have a PS4, so I can't play it.
The grass is
Yeah.
greener on
Yeah,
the other
that's great,
console.
yeah. We've still not given Ollie the controller yet.
No,
We
I was
can just
thinking
throw
about
you-
that today actually.
Maybe one day,
We can just throw you in.
once
the-
you've both given up.
Yeah.
We'll give you the controller for the next episode,
true
so you can like
despondent.
discover the next area.
Sure.
We'll see how that goes.
You just know I'm going to end up playing that like I do with like,
Oh god.
which I was going to, oh, what's in this book? What's over here?
But thank fuck, there's not a lot
Can
of
I
that.
talk to this guy? Oh no, he's going to kill me.
There might be something
Yeah.
in these barrels. Maybe
There's
go
nothing
explore
in the
Let's
barrels.
destroy every single barrel,
There's
just in case.
There's never anything in the barrel.
You destroyed every barrel.
You
I
don't
played through
know.
Dark
Have you
Souls.
destroyed every barrel?
I broke my sword in Dark
Every
Souls.
barrel.
I broke my sword in Dark Souls, breaking every barrel, hoping that something would come out, and nothing ever did.
Well, this isn't Dark Souls, John.
And this is Bloodborne, and it's still the same shit. At the end, so like we've reached the like the plateau of like when Bloodborne just becomes another Souls game.
Hmm.
In that, like now we're like going off camera, or you know, off, you know,
Grinding out some
grinding
echoes.
out echoes, going back to the Hunter's Dream, leveling up, going back and doing it all over again, so that we're right as rain
Mhm.
for the next time through. I am missing the fact that Dark Souls, like from Dark Souls, like the massive amount of loot you would get,
Hmm.
the crazy stuff you would find,
Yeah.
like the big turban that would give you defense against curses,
Hmm.
the pig helmet. This is just like a lot of like, it's more condensed,
Hmm.
so it's not like, oh, we've got like 300 swords for
Maybe
you to
that's
collect.
Maybe that's why I like it more. I don't know.
We've got like
That's one of
300
the
swords and shields and stuff for you to collect. Like,
Yeah.
oh, look at all these weapons. They've all got different names and stats and
Mm.
stuff like that. You'll find one that you like, but it'll be shit anyway, unless you build in this very specific order.
Hmm.
Whereas Bloodborne's a lot of like, it's almost like the opposite to like Dark Souls, where you forget like a lot of the weapons and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but the characters are more.
I suppose so. Yeah.
The characters are more like realised. Like you got Solaire, you've got the areas and stuff in Dark Souls, like the guy at the Firelink Shrine. You know,
with the really soft, creepy voice.
yeah.
Ugh.
The Crow.
I think every time I've started Dark Souls quite a few times trying to get back into
Yeah.
it, and I just always give in and attack that guy.
No, don't, because he'll fucking murder you, and then
'cause
he won't stop.
Yeah, he won't stop.
No.
And every time I've given up after that, because I can't resist the urge to attack him because of his fucking voice.
Don't talk to
Pretty
him then.
sure.
He
Can't you,
talks
like-
to me.
Can't you like nudge him off the cliff or something?
You
And you get his
can.
stuff.
You
I
can.
did that with someone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
had someone guiding me through the game. Like sat there on the couch next to me, and he was like, "Yeah, you can get this guy's stuff if you just like push him off the cliff or something."
Yeah.
he
You,
won't attack you if you just slowly
yeah.
push
Nudge,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that the same guy?
the guy in the like the blue armor.
There's a
at
guy
the
in one
start.
of the hub areas.
Yeah, the Violent Shrine
Hmm.
sort of thing. Yeah, no, but it's just like Dark Souls had like a lot of like memorable areas,
Yeah.
memorable names of
I
characters and
really
stuff
don't
like that.
want to go back to it again because I am enjoying Bloodborne.
Bloodborne has, it's like the opposite, where it's like it's more focused on you, so you'll remember like the Hunter's Axe, the hammer that's
Yeah.
coming up soon, and stuff like that. Like
The Tonitrus.
there's only maybe like 3 major swords and stuff within Dark
There's
Souls.
definitely not many.
Like that you can remember. Like there's Vihander, Dragon Sword, and whatever else, Crash Shield. But like the bosses are more memorable. But it's the same level of memorability with like bosses and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Father Gascon will remain in my mind as one of
Yeah.
the greatest boss fights I've done in the last few weeks or like this year.
Yeah. Well,
On the PS4, he's maybe one of the best bosses I've ever done.
it was hype.
He was really fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Fucking But it's still suffering from a lot of the issues that Dark Souls does, which is it is so animation heavy that it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, was watching it back and it's just like, oh, that's why I'm getting frustrated when I'm playing it, because it's just like
You get locked into these animations.
you get locked into like a 3 swing with the axe, and there's
Yeah.
no way to break out of it unless like you get hit, and then you're stuck getting hit, and then you're getting up, and then by the time you've gotten up, you've got literally a split second to attack back, and I guess like in real life, if I got hit down by a fucking machete and got back up, I'd probably be struggling. But at the same time, it's just like,
One tiny thing, like, because I'd say I'm probably going to get a PS4 this month, and I dare say Bloodborne will be one of the games I get for it. One thing, like, I don't know if you can change the controls around or not. Can you do individual button bindings?
You were in the PS4. You can change the button bindings.
It's something that annoys me every time I play it.
You don't like the R1, R2?
No, that is fine. It's L1 and L2. I want to shoot the blunderbuss with L1 because that feels so much more natural to me for some reason.
Oh.
I keep like being like, okay, he's coming at me, gonna stun him, and then I go, and then I get a two-handed weapon. He just hacks me right in the face instead, and I'm like, oh god,
no.
I just thought it was.
Oh no, I thought I was gonna
I
shoot
wanna
you,
change
but
it,
I
yeah.
made a bigger axe.
Yeah,
I made an even bigger
it
weapon.
happens so often.
I like it on L2 because it's like that's an actual trigger.
I suppose, but I guess like I don't know. It's like a weird offshoot of always having shoot be like.
Yeah.
Well,
I kind of wish there was like, I don't know if there's like a save, like a copy save function in the game so that you could make like 2 versions of the save, because I kind of want to play it on my own.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to go back through Father
like,
Gaskin ever again.
I was thinking that last night a little bit after we'd finished doing Pokemon Colosseum. I was like, maybe I'll do a different save, and then maybe I'll play it myself.
I've turned around on Bloodborne.
It's good.
I hope the next area beats me up even more. It's almost
turning
like a
into a
BDSM, BDSM relationship here.
Yeah.
Not gonna kink shame Bloodborne.
Anything else, Joel?
Trying to think if there's been anything else that I've played.
I was gonna say that we've played specifically. I don't.
No,
there's been
I'm
much.
trying to think what
We
I've
have
played.
these recurring series more than anything.
No, I can't think of anything.
No,
Don't think I've played much outside of what we played in uni.
it's been a pretty lengthy discussion there.
Yeah,
We have been playing stuff this
we
week.
have been playing stuff this week.
Some weeks when I'm just like, I've been playing more iPad games.
This is all
They're
right.
not worth talking about.
It's all right though.
I'm farming my Poggle.
How is your descent into madness with?
I only need 8 more sets of Poggle shards, and then I've unlocked Poggle. I need about 5 more sets of Poe shards for Poe Dameron. And I need about 9 sets of HK47 ones. There you go.
Do we want to do news or do we want to wrap up?
I don't know, is there stuff
Depends
worth
if there is
talking
any
about?
news.
Detective Pikachu.
Detective Pikachu.
Done.
Is that what we're talking about? Or are we doing something else with Detective Pikachu?
We're going to be doing something else with Detective Pikachu that you'll be able to see.
That
which
sounded a bit suspect. It's not.
a
gonna be
particular
doing anything to
a particular IGN website may have already done the same stuff
No.
that we planned, but not as
Not
good.
as good.
Not as good.
Not professional.
Not as professional because, well, I mean, come on, our idea is already way better than what they've done.
Well, I haven't seen what they've
Yeah,
done. so
Theirs
I
is
don't know.
limited to a Snapchat story,
Oh,
so
right, okay. No. Screw them then.
we've got actual production coming in.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably not. It's probably just going to be us, but oh well.
With silly masks or something.
Yes, we're gonna. It's gonna be funny.
There was another thing about Pokemon, wasn't there? About
Oh.
you can get free Pokemon.
You can get free Pokemon up until December of this year if you go into game.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the game in Lincoln does it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be a
usually
bit
does.
spooked.
It usually does.
Usually does.
It's like, oh, what's going
Oh,
on?
the Division's got an open beta coming this month, which will be good. So we don't have to get into a closed beta.
Oh yeah. Why don't you do a video on that, I guess?
The Division PC beta is apparently easy to hack. That should be fixed.
Yeah.
There's not really a lot of news at the minute.
There
There was and there isn't, sort of. I don't know. Kojima's back on Twitter properly. He was in Paris the other day.
He's in Paris.
Yeah, he was in Paris.
Having a good old time.
He's had a world tour.
The Kojima World Tour.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's got his new studio coming. There's
They
stuff
finally let him
coming.
out of the basement.
Yeah, there was stuff coming out of like Sony where he's like, yeah, him and Mark Cerny, the guy who designed the PS4 and stuff, and Knack, had like a 257 slide PowerPoint and about exactly what's going to happen and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like the next few years with Kojima Productions and stuff, because I think Sony are just backing him because like before Microsoft get to him,
Yeah.
because it would be a
He's
huge
a-
fucking scoop for him.
He's a hot commodity.
Yeah. Also interesting to note, I don't know if it's still the same, but Mark Cerny on Twitter is only following like a certain amount of people.
He's selective.
Selective, which, you know, usually is the case.
If you're a
But when some of them are Kojima and Guillermo del Toro,
speculation runs rampant.
that was a couple-week-old story, but
Hey, yeah,
oh well.
it was relevant.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what we're doing this week. We've got an actual schedule going up, hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah,
That'll do things. That'll tell you. That'll be on Facebook.
there will be definitely more Bloodborne,
More Bloodborne,
more Pokemon,
more Pokemon, more live streams.
more live streams.
We're gonna have like a dedicated set times for live streams so that people can
I mean,
hopefully come in and watch.
Friday's becoming a regular thing, it seems.
Yes,
so
Friday is our big thing, but
Friday night fun.
it
yeah.
might. Yes, it might. I don't know, like in the next couple of weeks or this week. I can't remember. I really can't remember now. I was gonna plan something out, big 24-hour live stream.
Oh right, yeah.
So to show like, hey,
We'll
we're
talk
here.
about it after this.
Yeah. We've got more videos, more stuff. There'll be some editorial stuff going up this week, hopefully. I want to speak into a camera and talk about stuff in a meaningful way instead of like
Rambling.
poop fat jokes. Yeah, it's a podcast.
Rambling and
Who does
poop
those?
jokes.
And then we've got some Valentine's videos being planned as well.
Oh
Gonna be
yeah.
Full of love.
Full of love. And also we'll be calling people out soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch out.
It
Link
might be
TV,
you.
LSJ.
Maybe. Might be you.
We're coming for you, brother.
Probably won't be you. But
Probably won't.
Might be you.
Might be you,
you're gonna
Jacob.
call me out.
Yeah.
I'm calling
There's
you out,
already
Jacob.
dissension in the faction.
I'm calling you out, Jacob.
How? I don't really know what to do about it, if I'm honest. Oh my god! We don't know how to end the podcast. Bye. I did do a sex tip.